guys, Laura here. I'm here today to do 2 ARC reviews. I got these books either at BloggerCon and BookCon or the week surrounding it. So the first one I'm going to talk about is Internet Famous by Danica Stone. I really enjoyed this book. I gave this book 4 stars. I've been reading a lot of unique formatting books. I really loved Illumine and Gemina. I really loved Eliza and her monsters, and I did enjoy Princess X, which I talked about in another video. But this I did enjoy. I gave it 4 stars. It's about this girl named Madison, who again is online. She has this blog that she does, and she does rewatches on it. And she has a pretty steady fan base, but she really has limited to no social skills in real life. Most of her friends are online, and she kind of is a little bit, can be considered a recluse at points. She just does not very, very social, but she's a lot of family drama. The one thing I loved about this book was the sister dynamics that happen. Her sister named Sarah is on the autism spectrum, and their relationship was really, really interesting. I will admit, elements of the story with the parents really frustrated me to no end. I got so frustrated at the parents. But it's about this girl. She's been a blogger for a while, but this boy unexpectedly comes into her life and makes her come out of her shell and meet her fans. And then there's the element of cyberbullying, which I thought was done so well in this story. It was probably better than most stories I've seen about cyberbullying and cyber complexities, because I really enjoyed how it was represented, and I liked the impact that it had, and I liked the effect that it had on Madison. Madison was not my favorite character, and I think I always a little bit struggle with characters in these books because that's not my personality. I've never been that way to that extreme. But I did like her as the book got on, and I think that that's kind of the point. You see a character at the beginning and you see what she does. I really did like the romance. I thought the romance was super cute and I really liked it. I love the internet friends. I did think the cyberbullying element got a little bit predictable. I could pretty much tell you who it was. But I thought that the way that they handled it, I loved how the story was told through IM chats and blog posts. I thought that was a really interesting thing. Overall, I gave it 4 stars, but I thought that the highlight of this story was the impact that autism could have on a family and the impact it could have on the siblings and on the parents. I thought that that was one thing that I really liked about this book. I know that the author, Danica Stone, is an educator who deals with special education. So I thought that was a really interesting take. But I thought she got the fandom culture spectacularly. There was a part in this book where she was talking about maybe doing a Buffy rewatch. And sorry, and I would have been all game for that because I'm in the middle of a Buffy rewatch myself. But overall, if you really like fandom and you just want a really fun story, I really recommend it. I gave it 4 stars. I thought it was super cute, and I highly recommend that you read it. And Internet Famous came out in June 2017, so it is already out, and I highly recommend you go check it out. The next book I picked up, I think, is probably one of my favorites of this year so far. It is The Unlikelies by Carrie Firestone. I read The Loose Ends List by Carrie Firestone, I think, in November. I love this book. I have a deep love of friendship novels. I think that I just love them, and I love them when the romance is not the focus, and that's pretty much what this was. So it starts out with this girl named Sadie who winds up being considered a hometown hero when she saves a baby from her abusive father. But she gets really injured. She's attacked. So she gets invited to this homegrown luncheon where she meets these five new characters that all are being honored, and they kind of start the summer off kind of all independently. Just they don't have a lot of friends, but they kind of all bond together. And in the start of this story, the person who nominates Sadie for this honor is a very, very sick old man, and he winds up leaving them something that starts them on a do-gooding campaign, and they have to try to right wrongs in society. Which I thought was a really interesting way to do it, and it really focused on the friendship of these 4 characters, which was Alice, Sadie, Val, Jean, and what's the love interest's name? Gordy. So they meet at the start of the story, and then it just kind of continues. And they start off trying to right wrongs. You know, the first thing that they write was that this kid who's been terribly bullied made this really awesome Mayim webpage, and he gets like literally attacked for it. So they start writing these wrongs online, and they come up with the name The Unlikelies. And it's just such a cute novel. I think I loved all the characters. I love like all the interrelationships that developed. I really did like Sadie and Gordy's relationship, but I like that it wasn't the sole focus of the book. I also like that Sadie was dealing with a lot of PTSD, you can consider, throughout the after the attack. There was also a lot of like addiction elements, because one of the friends, Alice, her best friend Izzy, who Sadie didn't know, became a heroin addict in the story. So the whole story is, a lot of the story is about her trying to save her best friend. I thought that was a really interesting choice to make in the book, because addiction is something you can't save someone from if they don't want to be saved. So I really like that. I will admit, that storyline, I think I got so frustrated because I was like, why are you doing this? But overall, by the end of it, I did see why it had to happen, and I loved all the interconnections. I loved the end of the book when they were kind of outed in some elements. I just thought it was like such a fun read. I think I read it in like 2 days. It was so much fun, and I just love friendship-based stories, and I loved that all these kids that really were do-gooders and were considered, you know, the highest thing, really were kind of could be considered like they didn't have a lot of friends. And Sadie was a big Sadie is going to be a senior, but she hung out with all the seniors, and her best friend moved away and went to college for the summer, so she was kind of by herself. So it's just like a really interesting dynamics about friendship and how friendships change and how you get new friends. And I think that if you are in high school or were in high school, I think you could understand the complex dynamics in friendship that this book tried to represent. But I just loved what these kids decided to do. I really liked the relationship between Gordy and Sadie. I thought it was good. I loved the parents as well. And I just thought the whole dynamics between all 5 kids just were really, really special. The book was also crazy diverse. All the characters, except Gordy, came from very different backgrounds. And I liked how they just immediately clicked and became friends. And it kind of became a summer of like fun adventures, but also just self-discovery. They all kind of went on their own journeys and found stuff out about themselves. There was a lot of like potential romance complications that happened with the other characters, and a lot of friendship stuff, especially with Alice and Izzy. I just thought it was such a well done story, and I am definitely going to put this on my to keep shelf because it was just such a good book. And I highly recommend, if you have not checked out this book, you check it out. It just came out in June, but the cover's adorable, and it's a really good friendship story with like romantic elements, but it's a really, really quick read, and I just loved how the story was represented. But yeah, so I hope you guys will check this out. Both these books came out in October. Both these books came out in June. I definitely enjoyed them both. I think I like The Unlikelies a little bit more. But overall, they were both really, really fun contemporary reads, and I hope you guys will check them out. I'll talk to you guys later.